Good morning. You're watching Village in Motion on, let's see, what day is it? March the 9th, 2020. And we're going to be talking with Chandra Kumar, our executive director. But we're going to find out about the elite winner for this time. But unfortunately, that winner could not be with us this morning, but we're going to find out who it is. And this is a call-in show, so if you have some questions for Chandra, be sure you call in. She'd love to answer them and make sure everybody knows what's going on. So the number is 703-663-3333. Very simple number to remember. So let's find out what's going on this morning. Chandra?
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you for having me today. So today is a beautiful day.
Oh, isn't it though?
I see all of the residents are out walking around and exercising and getting the fresh air, and I think we've just been waiting for that for so long. So I'm excited to be able to have a day, so early in the year to be able to have this great weather. So thank you for having me today. And today I don't have our winner, which is I'm a little sad.
Yes.
Because we always get to share who our winner is. But the Elite Award is important because we have an Elite Award winner for the month. Mm-hmm. And then on a quarterly basis, we do it for our leadership team. So the leaders that are supervising and leading in the community. And so this month, we have we have an Elite Award winner who is in transportation.
Oh.
And this was a nomination that was sent to us, and I think you can see his picture there. There's Clarence. So Clarence Williams is a driver, and I know it's a little blurb there that says he saved me from the agony that comes from realizing that I don't have my keys with me. And all of us have experienced that angst of not having the keys. But I'll go into a little bit more detail. And it takes a lot to be in a winner. The process is we get lots of nominations, whether it's from employees or visitors or residents. Mostly we get them from our residents. Just talking about people going above and beyond.
Right.
And so that's why this Elite Award is important, because it's really focused around leadership, excellence, teamwork, empowerment, and integrity. And empowerment is really important for our employees to be able to provide the best customer service, because they can't always say, oh, let me go ask someone this question.
Right.
And we want them to be able to make those decisions in those real time, that moment that it's happening, to be able to do that. And this is what Clarence really did. Clarence could have said, I'm going to go call my supervisor.
Right. What
do I do with these keys? Instead, he did what was the right thing to do, and that's part of empowerment. So what happened was we had this resident that was going on the Metro shuttle. She'd left her house keys on the bus, unbeknownst to her. She crossed the street, went up the stairs into the escalator, traversed the pedestrian bridge, went through the gates and down the escalator and entered the awaiting train, which was supposed to depart in a few minutes. And all of a sudden, she sees Clarence running, down the aisle, and he's, jangling the keys, saying, "Hey, you left your keys. You left your keys." And he could have just taken off and said, "You know what? I'm going to turn it into the front desk.
Oh yeah.
She'll come back and get them." But I know, as she or any of us would be, we would be looking in our bags.
Where in the world is it? Yes.
Yeah, and then your angst is there, and whatever purpose you're going for, whether it's for a doctor's visit or visiting the museum, you're going to be anxious because you don't want to. Those keys are important to us. So it really shows the initiative of, it's not just I ran across the street and gave it. Went through all of those same measures to get the keys, and I just feel like that just really. Talks about the kind of person that Clarence is. Clarence has been with us since 2015, and his CDL is, he has a commercial driver's license, so those are the people that drive our big buses.
Yes.
And we're really fortunate to have someone like him on our team to really exemplify what the Elite Award stands for, and someone that goes above and beyond and really is empowered to make that decision.
Right.
I'm going to park this bus and run and get this to my resident, which I think is really important. So I'm sorry he's not here. We've got his certificate and his gift card here, and we'll make sure he gets his gift card and certificate. We'll make sure all of this gets to him.
Good.
So what a great way to start off a Monday, on a beautiful Monday,
yes.
is to talk about employees and the employees that are empowered to go above and beyond. So
yes, and we have some wonderful employees.
Yes.
I don't know how you ever select.
Really do. I wish I could take all the credit for that, but I know that I've got a great management team.
Yes.
We really focus on, you want employees that have the skill sets to do their specific jobs. But, I've grown up in this, working with, basically working in senior housing and services for over 25 years. And my motto has always been that I want to hire somebody that has a heart, that has the heart for that job. Skills, they may have some of them, they may have all of them, they may have some that we need to teach. But you can't really teach the heart.
No, you can't.
So I think it's really important to focus on employees that have our culture, that have our values, that care about what they do with our residents. So that's really important. These days, it's even harder because the job market is so competitive. We've got still such low unemployment in the area, specifically in the Northern Virginia market.
Right.
So we're really blessed to have good people, and I think a lot of it comes also from the interaction with you, our residents. The staff is always so grateful for those residents' interactions, and sometimes they can be tough.
Yes.
But most of the time it's really good. And so I think that, it takes a community, it takes a village,
Right.
and it really to keep residents and employees all together and happy, and we're in it together. And we're talking, I know everybody's going to be wondering what's going on. We've been trying to update on the COVID-19 or coronavirus, and I know that Fairfax County had a press conference also. So there's lots of information that's going out. We'll continue to do updates here in the TV studio and do robocalls and letters if they need to be updated into residents' cubbies. So this has kind of been our weekend.
It has been.
It has been. My executive team has been meeting with our all 19 Erickson communities. We've been having calls all through the weekend, every day. And so we just want to make sure we stay on top. We don't want to create any kind of anxiety, but we just want to be prepared.
Well, I think after going through what we did a couple of years ago with that big flu quarantine,
yes,
we're all aware of what it takes to avoid this problem.
Yes.
And I see people being much more cautious, and I think it's great.
So we did a video last week, and I think they might even be able to roll it for us on proper hand washing techniques, because I know that people are probably saying, well, everybody just keeps talking about hand washing, but that's how we get it, into our system, is through our hands. And so they've teed up that video there with Melissa being our model on how to wash your hands. And she's talking about that friction there, so I'm not sure if the audio is on that piece or not, but
the bottoms, the tops, you want the friction, which is what's important to get the germs off. You want to rub in between your fingers and the tops of your hands and the bottoms of your hands. To your wrist always helps. And you scrub, because again, it's the friction. And then you want to thoroughly rinse, and you rinse from here down, from your wrist down. Make sure you get the soap off. And now you want to make sure that you dry your hands. And then you want to throw the towel away. And there you go. That's how you wash your hands. 20 seconds, soap and water in between the fingers, in between your webs, top and bottom, rinse and dry. Thank you.
I know they've always said sing happy birthday twice.
Yes.
I had to laugh at my great-grandson. He knew what he was supposed to do. So of course he goes, "Happy birthday to you, happy birthday." That's not what they meant.
No, that's great. Though at least he's remembering it. He's remembering it. A couple of things that have happened kind of this weekend. I sent out a robocall, and then after that, as we got together as a company to have discussions, the decision was made: do we start to have those conversations at the gatehouse and ask those questions? Unfortunately, or fortunately, it's a fluid situation. So
Yes.
something that I may say now could change by the time I leave this studio.
Sure.
So the fact that what we started to do this week, starting on Friday, was to start to ask at the gatehouse, if anyone's had any fever, cough, if they've traveled outside of the country. We've been saying 21 days just because 14 days is sort of where we would, if anyone needed to be housed in their apartments and self-quarantined, that would be for 14 days. But the 21 days question, so there's two numbers you'll see. 21 days, we're just saying if you've traveled outside of the country or come in contact with someone that's traveled outside of the country.
Is that just for guests?
It's for guests and for our residents. We're also
So
asking
you're stopping the residents also?
No, we're not stopping them. They're the residents. This is their home. What we're asking them is if they are going to travel or plan to travel or come back, we would like to ask then that we would be looking at doing a 14-day request for them to self-quarantine in their apartments for safety purposes.
This is travel outside of the United States?
Outside of the United States, yes. So, for example, we had a visitor come this weekend that had come from had visited one of the countries that's having a larger spread of people that have been affected by the coronavirus. And we asked the person, and they were very cooperative and left. We've also had a resident, who was going to go visit someone that had come from outside of the country and spoke to our medical director. Medical director strongly encouraged not to do that, to keep that 14-day,
14 days.
kind of period away from the person, have a WhatsApp chat or a FaceTime or a conversation on the phone, and the person was very cooperative. So that's what we're trying to do is, as the cases arise and situations arise, how do we manage it? We just want to make sure that we have a group of residents that are here that's 2,000 people, and we want to make sure that together we're safe as residents and employees. Our Garden Ridge has some of our most vulnerable seniors, and so there may be more evolving restrictions as the week goes on. It continues to be fluid. I could be sitting here saying one thing and then it changes as our time goes by. So our goal is to make sure that we're not trying to be mean or seclude people. Our goal is just to keep everyone safe.
Sure.
So as you said, we've been through this a couple times, unfortunately, whether it was with the GI issue a couple years ago or the respiratory issue. And a lot of the measures that we had put in place, I know as a company, Ericsson's used the same models that we did here at Green Spring to communicate. And so, unfortunately.
Oh, we have a call coming in.
Okay.
All right, let's take that call.
Let's take that call.
I'm not hearing the call.
Yeah, there's nothing inside.
You can go ahead.
Well, there we are. Okay.
Thank you. Are there any supplies, food, and so forth that we as residents should be doing ourselves?
So I would recommend if you keep the standard items that you keep in your home. People want to have whether it's hand washing soap, whether it's wipes for the inside your home. Something that's bleach based would probably be my suggestion. Things that you prefer to eat or drink. I would also always suggest, is you keep things like I keep in my house. I keep some ginger ale, I keep some chicken soup, things that when your stomach is not feeling well or you're not feeling well, those are some of the lighter fares, crackers, things like that. But we have the capacity here to, if someone is not feeling well, to make home deliveries. So if we need to, for some reason, have someone stay in their apartment for that 14-day span, we would be delivering the meals, and we would be delivering if there's small items that are needed from the stores, you know, whether it's toilet paper or something like that. So our goal is to keep people safe in their apartments.
Right.
Because as this evolves, and eventually, you know, I know we've had 2 cases in Fairfax County that are very limited and being closely monitored. Unfortunately, the challenge with this is that once one person has it and they have contact with others, you do have the opportunity for it to exponentially grow. And in most cases, it's very similar to the flu. However, people with underlying health conditions is our concern, and that's what happens with our population, is that you know, we have more with seniors. We have more of those underlining.
Not feeling up to par, don't rush out to the store and get your things. Call our store.
Well, so if you're not feeling well, please make sure you contact the medical center, and they can help to guide you through that process. And that way, you know, we don't want someone that's not feeling well to have to rush out to get something either. So we've always had delivery, the option if someone's not feeling well, we'll deliver at no charge. You know, because we have the capacity to do a disposable delivery process. To keep the resident healthy and safe, and the rest of the community too. So those are just some of them. I think the best sites always to look at is Fairfax County.
I'm not sure everybody understands that that we have that capacity to deliver those things. And they start feeling badly, and they want a friend to go get stuff for them, and when maybe it's really exposing someone else that shouldn't be exposed.
Right, so that's why we always say call the medical center, because the medical center can give us the information of, you know, we've got this individual that's exhibiting these signs and symptoms. What's the next step that needs to happen? And we can work through. We have a very tight communication process amongst the directors, and so it's not like there's a list that floats around with, you know, Jane Doe's name. Everybody knows Jane Doe's not feeling well. That's not, because we have to be HIPAA compliant, but we do have a process amongst ourselves to say, okay, this specific resident needs meal deliveries, they're not feeling well. And it's not just for this situation, but we do it for anyone that has the GI issues, anyone that has had other respiratory issues. We've done that for years. There is also a comfort kit that we do provide for people that have specific diagnosis, like the GI, for example. There's a comfort kit that we have that gets delivered that has medications. I'm not sure
everybody understands it, especially our newer residents. Those of us who've been here forever have heard about it through the years, but I'm not sure everybody understands that that is available.
Yeah, so what I've done is, in prior years when we've had these situations, we put that in the documents that go out to say, if you need assistance, this is where you call, and this is what we'll send to you. So we can send that out again. I think that would probably be helpful, as you said, and we'll continue to talk about that.
Not buried in a letter somewhere, but just very specific.
Maybe we can put it in the flash. That might be good. That might be a good idea. I'm trying to think where's the best place to put it on MyRx in the flash, and we can also talk about that on the
or even on the bulletin board.
Right. Well, the bulletin board, yes, absolutely. Put it on a corner. There's just so much on that bulletin board.
Yes, there is.
So we'll also bring it up at our next TV show too, to kind of talk about. Dr. Dar will be, when he's available, we'll have him come on again and talk about the medical center's interventions. But you know, just continuing to make sure that everyone is washing their hands. We are also making sure that the communication has gone out to our vendors, because we have lots of vendors in the community. We have construction people coming in. We have projects going on. So we have sent it to all of the large scale ones. We're also having our resident life team communicating to private duty aides. We do ask that if you have your own private duty, that aide or housekeeper or someone else that's providing services, we don't always know if they belong to a specific company. It may be a freelancer. So we're letting them know at the gatehouse, but we also ask you as residents to reinforce
Reinforce it.
the thought process of why we have these restrictions going on right now.
Right. Good.
Yes.
So what else is going on we need to know about?
Oh, there's so much going on. This has been our focus this last week. Lots of construction still happening. You can see the process is moving forward. Progress on the top deck of the new addition to the parking space across from Town Center. We're looking at that'll be about 44 spaces, and there 2 will be for electric car charging stations. And then the part that I was most excited about is that the deck is further away from the building than the original. Like when you look at it on a drawing, it's hard to always tell the scale of how far. So I'm happy to see that it's further away from the building, which gives more natural light to all the residents in that area there. So it's on so far. It's been on target. I've not heard that they're not going to make it and get it done on time. So that's continuing. You can see that some of the grounds work is starting to get done, with the pruning and all. We are in the process of awarding some specific work on those flower beds and areas that are of high impact to a company that's a design company that's given us, some overall pictures of what it's going to look like with the new flowers and shrubs and all. So excited about those pieces. The cafe is open. They're still working through every day. They're learning something new and they're implementing and really getting feedback from residents and working through that. Through the weekend with this COVID-19, we always have an MOD or manager on duty.
Right.
And so starting this weekend, we've had additional coverage from the executive team. So there's always going to be a manager on duty, but there'll also be like in the middle of the day, someone to come in and see how things are going and to check, just to do a pulse check. The executive team will be coming in on weekends additionally beyond that to make sure that we have coverage. Good. Just to be there if there's any questions or concerns. We're all available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. My phone number is on my business card, my cell phone number. Right. So, we're always available, but we want to make sure that residents feel like we're there. We've got this. We're going to stick it through no matter what happens, and just make sure as a community we work together to stay safe. So it really is a community effort. So we ask if you have plans on traveling, please let us know. If you're planning on visiting somebody that has traveled, let's have a conversation. We want to make sure that we don't want to have to restrict people, but we just want to make sure that we keep everybody safe.
Right.
So,
right.
Lots going on.
It's been fascinating watching the big crane over in the fitness center building.
It is. I always think that maybe we should get theater seating for people to be able to see what's going on. Yes, those crane operators are interesting.
They're fascinating to watch carry those big beams and
with such precision.
Yes.
I think about how much precision it takes to move, one of those that weigh tons, those, those steel beams. And I think what'll be great is once you start to get the beams in place, you start to see the structure, or like the skeleton, the framework, because people are asking, how far out is it, or what's that wall for? They keep moving the dirt back and forth and back and forth. Lots going on. The good thing is that the team has got it. They're working on it. We're going back and fixing things that maybe didn't get done the way they should have. I got a question. We've got a couple questions about like the classroom. They needed blinds. They needed a wireless access point, and so we went back and met with the council. Some of the council members last week to go through a list of items to make sure that, some of the areas that get done, if we need to make some slight changes, so they really meet the needs of our residents. Specific, they're very general in the sense of meeting people's needs, but we have people with all different levels of abilities when it comes to using all of that multimedia stuff, in these classrooms. So we're lucky that we've got lots of collaboration with the computer club and general services, and a couple of our residents who are very involved and are very knowledgeable. So we're lucky to have very knowledgeable residents to help us through this. So
Good.
kind of working those pieces.
And
We do have,
I understand we have the big food drive this week too,
Yes,
starting
yes.
tomorrow.
and then we also have the coffee with the execs, which is going to happen on the 16th. That's Monday.
That's next Monday.
Yes, and we'll keep a pulse on how things are going, that are we going to go ahead and do it as we usually do it, because we end up with close to 200 plus people, or do we do it televised? We'll make that decision based on how things are going this week. Again, talking about, things are fluid, so we'll
Right.
see how everything progresses with this COVID-19 and make that decision, and we'll communicate that out to all of our residents. Of course, the blood drive is in April also. We have the
Right.
blood drive. So lots of things going on, just making sure if you're using puzzles, if you're using, cards, please just wash your hands afterwards.
Right.
Those surfaces are really hard to maintain.
As one of the news reporters said, don't put your hands above your shoulders.
Yeah. It's hard because, people just, you get your nose itches and,
Oh, yes. yes.
or something, and it's hard. And so, people always say do that. And it's funny because I'm not even able to shake, we're not shaking hands
Right,
anymore.
right.
Not even doing fist bumps.
Right.
People just do the fist
Right.
bumps. But, it's just being alert and aware.
Exactly.
Is important. So the newsstands are coming in April, so we'll be able to have all of the items that people want to
Okay.
pick up what you want. We'll still continue with the Villager and the Flash always being in the cubbies still.
Oh, okay.
And we're still, this is an opportunity for us to still kind of get to know, where do we need to modify? Do we need to up the printing? Is this something that has a high demand item? It's not something that it's set in stone that this is exactly how it's going
Right.
to go. I mean, I don't want to use the word pilot, but you could call it, this is our pilot phase that we're testing things out.
Yeah.
We're testing the waters
To
see
find out
what's-
what needs to go to everybody and what people can pick up. What.
And what can we think of, as a group that we could maybe modify, still get the information that needs to be sent out?
Sure.
What's the best way to do it? Because that's, a lot of times you hear, well, this is how we've always done it.
But there might be a better way.
Exactly. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Chandra.
Absolutely.
Very informative.